watching some Joe Dispenza videos. It's a little late, but picked which late night in the Heartland show I'm going to be watching. It is The Temple. Was it real? How Bible prophecy resurrected Judaism. So another great program. Obviously, Jeff's on tonight, so back to the live program tomorrow for my birthday. I'll be getting back home early so I can spend my birthday with the cousins again. So this is the birthday eve. So not really nothing too exciting going on here. Just going to get ready and watch the episode. I love rewatching these because when I'm watching them live, I'm chatting with the cousins and still listening, but it's always good to listen twice because it sinks in more. So definitely been doing that with the last few videos here, and it's definitely helped for sure. I got some snacks, so I'll be able to relax and watch the deep program. Make sure. There we go. Here we go. Of course, ad right off the top. Stupid ad. Pogo's been around for 60 years? Holy. Did not know it was that old.
Well,
oh yeah, he's got his Fozzie shirt on tonight.
I'm Jeffrey Dark, live from the Heartland. Glad to have you with us here tonight. And tonight, we've got a powerful deep program for you. The Temple, did it exist? Why it matters?
Probably not.
And without Christianity, Judaism would have perished. We're going to look at Matthew 24.
Way to go,
We're
X-Cards.
going to look at Revelation 6. We've got some great deep programming to do.
You gave the Corvette regime their power.
Tonight. Just want to double check and see if my audio sounds like it's right. That sounds like it's right. Give me a check if you think that it is not right. And it's good to see everybody. Let's say hello to the people on YouTube as soon as I turn that down. DAGR's here. Rex
as
is
always.
Here. Ione's here. Sophie is here. Renee, nice to see you in Kentucky. Colin's here. Super Galactic. Brian. Freedom again.
I love when he calls my name twice.
Daniels, nice to see you. And we've got somebody written in Chinese characters, I believe.
My new channel is Freedom Dagger. So if you don't know that.
Nice to see you. Galactic Cat. Always great to see you here, Galactic Cat. And over on the Rockfin side,
No, she's Atlantic Cat.
We've got Ben Brandt, also in Missouri, another Missouri cohort. And we've got Steven. We have Eli. Pedro. And a lot of other people in here.
My man, Pedro.
Including Cruz Michael, Brandon Sullivan, Bonnie's the Best, Charles Glenn. Nice to see all of you here tonight. Cynthia also checking in over on Rockfin. Nice to see her. Wow. I got to tell you, folks, I did something terrible today.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just, I feel so bad.
As he's smirking. I don't know if it feels that bad.
We just moved, and I'm putting together my pull-up bar, because I do all body weight exercises. I put together my pull-up bar, and Cynthia
I got a pull-up bar. I need to put it up.
Helping me hold the uprights, and I'm up above her, and oh, it was the worst thing, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't have anybody to help me put mine up, though.
Slipped out of my hands. A big steel pipe slipped out of my hands, and it fell about 18 inches and bonked her right in the head.
I'll leave a mark.
And it made her cry. She's got a big,
I guess so.
Call it a mouse on her forehead. Her forehead's turned into a 5-head. I feel incredibly bad.
5-head.
It was just, I mean, it's like comedy where just a horrible thing. So Cynthia took a knock on.
She took one for the team.
In a good dinner. She says, fall's my favorite time of the year. I said, well, that bar falling on you wasn't exactly one of your favorites. So we try to make, lemonade out of lemons. Try to make lemonade out of lemons. And, I'm born and raised in Florida. and I'm from the Clearwater area. And boy, I know you guys are taking it on the chin tonight. Our thoughts, our energy.
I miss that area.
out
My
to
parents used to have a
those of
place in
you
Largo.
Florida. We hope
My
that
dad got
you
sick.
will, be completely fine. And don't worry, Ryan. No damage to the pipe. Ryan was worried about the pipe. It was actually the bar that you do the pull-ups on that I dropped on her. It was just a
Mine's
horrible
pretty
thing.
heavy,
And
so I know that would
I
hurt.
jumped down off the ladder to tend to her and hurt my leg again. So it was, it was a comedy of errors. Abraham is in Wyoming. So wow, not a banner day around the household today.
Can only get better.
But sent news to troopers. You got ice on it, and it was just an awful thing. It really was. I feel so bad, and I wanted to just apologize to her one more time. Well, tonight, folks, we have another just amazing deep program. Just an amazing
They're all
deep
amazing.
program. I'm excited to share it with you, and it's going to be a little touchy in some areas. And if you're
Ooh,
a
I like
Christian
touchy.
and you're with us tonight, I was 25 years a Protestant minister. I have a Bible college degree. I've spent over 150,000 hours.
That's a
in
lot of
biblical
hours.
text Studying it. So I didn't just.
How many hours
pick
to
this
me?
up yesterday. It is real. It is true. And I heard a new excuse today, ladies and gentlemen. I heard a new excuse. Somebody that I had asked to have a debate. And they gave a little slap. They said, "Oh, well, I can't debate because I have high blood pressure. And I might get too upset."
You
And
can't handle the
what
heat,
it
stay out of the
was
kitchen,
a
bitches.
case of extreme bursitis. I understand. I don't want anybody to strain up the
Oh,
vagina
bursitis is
from
terrible.
debating, But this person has no problem.
Most
getting on the internet
ex-tards have
defending the
bursitis.
chancellor, but he doesn't
They
want
don't
to
want
strain his vagina.
to. They don't want to know the real truth
It just is the way it
or
is.
debate
But, I mean, come on.
without yelling at you.
I don't want to have a heart attack. I know my blood pressure. My blood pressure. Bursitis. 100%
Bursitis.
Okay,
That's
so here
awesome. I
we
love
go.
that term.
Are you ready for some unindoctrination?
Oh yeah.
No, you're not.
Bring it.
Here it comes. And let's start talking about history by talking about history itself. And there's one thing that you have to know when you are dealing with history. History, we've been told, is written by the winners.
It is.
Yeah, but more importantly, history is filtered by the winners.
Exactly.
And even if you have read
That's the
all
real history.
3 books, they filtered them. And we know nothing for
Yeah, that's
sure.
why he doesn't talk to
Even if you
Jason
have studied
anymore.
all the great books for years, they've been filtered by them. And we know who them are, but we can't just really say who them are
The
here
Soviet
on
regime.
YouTube. We'll be going to Rockfin in all likelihood, so you can go there and figure out and know who they are if for some reason you don't. Now, Herodotus was a 5th century BC Greek historian, and he's often considered the father of history in the Western tradition, although he's also called the father of lies. So you see, he's the father of history. No, he's the father of lies. And then he had a contemporary named,
Oh, geez, can I buy a vowel?
He helped form the foundations for the modern study of past events and societies. Thucydides
That sounds about
is
right.
credited with having first approached history with a well-developed historical method. Unlike Herodotus, he regarded history as being the product of choices and actions of human beings, and looked at cause and effect rather than as the result of divine intervention. In his historical method, he emphasized chronology, a nominally neutral point of view, and that's not what you want to hear when you're talking about history. You don't want to hear a nominally neutral point of view. You want someone to be neutral, and that the human world was the result of the actions of human beings. Greek historians also viewed history as cyclical, with events regularly occurring. So you can see there is some consistency begin to come into the practice of history, but what you've got to know is it doesn't matter if you've read all the books. All the books have been filtered down through, and we'll get into it, so I don't want to jump the gun. Many historians believe that the production of history is embedded with bias.
Of course.
Because
Just like the
events
fake
and
news
known
of today.
facts, quote unquote, in history can be interpreted in a variety of ways. And a common view of the link between history and politics rests on the elementary, that means it's simple, observation that historians are often influenced by politics. And the historical process is rooted in archives. Historical omissions can occur in many ways. They can have a profound effect on historical records. Information can also be purposely excluded or left out accidentally. Historians have even coined a term that describes the act of omitting historical information. Now, if doctors coined a term for doctors making mistakes, that might concern you. Historians have made up a word on their own to describe people leaving out historical information. They call it silencing or selective memory or erasures. When the people that are doing history
I used to have selective
made up
hearing with my
words
ex-girlfriends.
or people that screw up history, that gives you a pretty good idea that history's screwed up. So it
Yeah.
doesn't matter if you've read all the books. It doesn't matter if you've studied all the great minds. All the great minds are minds of men.
Do you
And
know
those
it?
minds are subject to prejudice.
Yep.
All the books are written by men. All the books are filtered by men. And you'll see in a moment they're filtered by the church. And that makes it extremely, extremely questionable. So anybody that shows up on the scene and tells you they've read all the great books, they've got it all figured out, they are severely mistaken or highly controlled. Because it's just not true. It's just not true. And it can't be true. And only lazy people want to believe that it is. Oh, he did all the reading, he did all the studying, he wrote it all down. I'll just believe him, said the unsophisticated. It's nonsense.
Ouch.
To live is to journey. That's why Bridgestone is really.
Even if you have read all the great books, they filtered them, and we know nothing for sure.
Still
Let's
interesting
get
theories,
into it
though,
deeper
that,
so we
that
can
Jason
get
has.
into history. Why talk about the history of the temple until I talk about the history of history? Joseph Justus Scaliger is the father of history as we know it.
I wonder if they got
Every
Scallywag from his
single
name.
piece of history that we know, written from each and every perspective that we've been able to read it from, has all been filtered through Scaliger and one other group, and we'll tell you who those are. Understand what I'm saying to you. If you just want to feel good and have itching ears and heap to yourself teachers, this really isn't the deprogram for you. Because you want programming, you don't want deprogramming. If you want somebody else to do all the work and you just get all the benefit, this probably isn't the right place for you. Joseph Justus Scaliger was a French Calvinist religious leader. Calvinist, hyper-Protestantism.
French.
He was a French
Bad enough.
Calvinist who came up under John Calvin, who was Johann Cohen, a crypto,
Lamb.
you-know-whatto. You like when I think of that? A crypto, you-know-whatto.
I like when he said
He was
lamb.
known for expanding
He doesn't
the
use lamb as
notion
much anymore.
of classical history from Greek
We know what
and
lamb
ancient
is.
Roman. Now let me explain to you what this means. Typically, pre-Scaliger, we in the
Pre-Scallywag.
West just looked at Western history as being real history. We studied the Greek history, we studied the Roman history, and we kind of just let it go. I'm not sure that was such a bad idea, but Scaliger decided, let's incorporate the histories of other cultures. So some of these guys and girls that say, oh, I've studied the history, I've studied the cultures, I've studied the books from all of these different places, they still all came through the French Calvinist religious leader, Scaliger. Or his enemies / contemporaries, and we'll find out who they are just in a minute. How do you like this so far? It's enlightening.
Of course.
So Scaliger said, let's not just look at Greek and ancient Roman. Let's also get in here and let's look at Persian. Let's look at Babylonian. Let's look at Jewish. Let's look at Egyptian history.
Let's
So
look
you
at them
see,
all.
even if you say you've studied or you follow some chick who said that they've studied and read all the Persian, read all the
I like following
Babylonian, read all the
chicks.
Akkadian, read all the Jewish, read all the Egyptian. Cool story, sis. You read it all, but Scaliger still filtered it all. So what I'm saying is you don't know anything for sure. So what are we supposed to do, Jeff? We're supposed to trust our brain. Like Cynthia.
Yep, I did that the other day.
Cynthia
Didn't go to a
was
job.
saying that the whole time that she was there helping me, she knew she was going to get
Didn't
involved
feel right.
with the bar. But she didn't want to seem like she didn't trust
And
me
Lee never
or
messaged me
whatever,
back when
so
I
she
didn't show
say
up.
anything.
So it was probably
And
my blink was
I
probably
wish
right.
that she would have just said, no, I can't do it. I'm afraid you're going to bother me with that bar.
Won't go into
'Cause I
more
probably
details
would do
than
without
that.
her help. And what does that have to do with it? That has to do with you've got to experience it for yourself. You've got to get your own sense of blink. You cannot trust history. And you cannot trust people that say that they've learned everything about history so they can tell you what's going on. You just can't afford to do that unless you're lazy and unsophisticated and or both.
Which most X-tards are.
So Scaliger filtered the Greek,
You just
filtered
listen
the
to the
Roman,
priests
filtered the Persian, the Akkadian, the Babylonian, the Jewish,
who interpret
and
the
even
Bible
ancient
however they want.
Egyptian history. Scaliger revolutionized ideas about chronology to show that ancient history is not confined to just the Greeks and Romans, but also comprises that of all these other peoples. Treated as a thing apart, he brought them together as a single historical narrative composed by the fragments of all of these, and the several systems of chronology must be critically compared. That's important. And it was this innovation that distinguished Scaliger from other contemporary scholars of his day. Notice, folks, what this says. All histories, Greek, Roman, Persian, Babylonian, Jewish, Egyptian, Akkadian, they've all been filtered through this Calvinist theologian and those who were helping him. Let's talk about those who were helping him. How about that?
Oh, nobody could do that all by
So
himself.
he's saying with AutoCare, I'll be able to review work anywhere?
But Scaliger's enemies were not merely those whose errors he exposed. This is obviously a very pro-Scaliger article I'm reading here from Encyclopedia Britannica. Not just those whose errors he exposed and whose hostility he had excited by the violence of his language. I know something about that.
I had
But
Encyclopedia
the result
Britannica
of
as a
his
kid.
method of historical criticism threatened the Catholic controversialists and the authenticity of his documents and the documents on which they relied. The Jesuits aspired to be the source of all scholarship in history, and they are. They saw his writings and the authority of Scaliger, the Calvinist. They saw them as a threat. And as long as Scaliger's perceived intellectual supremacy was unquestioned, the Protestants had the advantage in learning, the Protestants had the advantage in scholarship. His enemies, therefore, the Jesuits, aimed not to answer his criticisms or to disprove his statements, but to attack him as a man and destroy his reputation. All history as we know it, folks, comes down to us via Calvinists and or Jesuits. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Not
It
good.
doesn't matter if it's Akkadian history. It doesn't matter if it's Egyptian history, Jewish history. It doesn't matter if it's
It's all
Babylonian
written
history.
by the same people.
Every bit of history that you know that we've been taught has been filtered by Calvinists and Jesuits. That's the church.
Yes.
And it's run by the you-know-who's, the you-know-whoodies.
Yep.
You know
Soviet
whoodies.
regime.
You know the you-know-whoodies.
The Loans.
It's run by them. History. Even the great books cannot be trusted for authenticity. But you know what can be trusted, folks?
Jeffrey Doherty.
Focused life force energy can be trusted to bring you a high
Concentrated
consciousness environment to your home,
to your phone.
365
days a
by
year.
24/7. I
Ooh,
should
yeah.
reverse those, but you know what I mean.
I know
And
what
not
you
only
mean,
does it bring you
JD.
a high consciousness environment, which allows you to live and move and function in a high consciousness environment, which will naturally raise your consciousness.
Yup.
It also
Oh, she probably got some more ice.
mitigates 5G,
No ice.
actually turning 5G from a detrimental frequency into a beneficial frequency without any
more ice.
slowing of your devices. I know it's hard
That's
to
what she
believe,
said.
but guess what? They give you a 1-month free trial just to prove it. Go to jeffreydarty.com. Let's see if they're on the screen.
I do.
Click on the FLFE button. That's Focus Life Force Energy. It brings you to an informative website. You can sign up
I think
for
they're
a
coming
30-day
on
trial. That's
Tuesday, I
15
think you
on
said.
your phone, 15 on your home. Dave said it is.
Days.
And they don't ask for a credit card. They're not open to forget. They
Not
give
like
you
MLB.
3 months out of you. No.
Screwed me over.
You get
My
30
free-
days free.
I
No
got paid like
questions
$38
And
for nothing. Didn't even
I'm
get to
pretty
watch
darn
the
sure
free
that
Jays
you
game.
You will fight them to keep
Their
your
lens too.
It's
What a
just
shocker.
that good, folks. It's just that good.
Just
So-
good.
All history, as we know it, comes down to us via Calvinists and Jesuits. Even the great books cannot be trusted for authority. That's just the way it is. So when somebody comes saying that they figured it all out, and they said that they've learned it in places that maybe they can't have learned it from, it's time to remind ourselves that we know nothing for certain, but that we've been lied to. And we owe it to ourselves to ask
Oh yeah, we've been lied to
questions
over and over and over
and
again.
check
Over the
things
years.
out. Ask questions and check things out. All
Always.
of our learning has come through
Always
liars,
ask
Jesuits,
questions.
Freemasons. We've got to be better scholars. We've got to be less trusting
There's
and
Jason
more
there.
working. That
Throwing
is
Jason under the
my
bus. I guess he's not coming back on the show.
opinion. That is my encouragement to you. Do your own work and quit being a silly, unsophisticated, lazy follower of people that said they've done the work. You don't know if the work's been done unless you've done it yourself. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. So it is
Oh, we gotta
with
open this one.
the temple. Let's pause for one moment and go back into the chat. Let's see what's going on in the Rock Bin chat.
We'll get
I
my
guess
scissors. I still have it out for my hockey cards here.
Joni. I don't used to see Jeff on Rockfin. I usually use Twitch. Oh, we're so
Ooh.
glad that you're here, Pablo. And
Pablo. I just
wanna
stepped
say
on my
thank you so
tape
very
from
much
before.
for the donation that you made.
There we go.
An amazing donation. Thank you very much. I appreciate it tremendously. I appreciate it tremendously.
There we go.
Thank you so
Got it.
much. Just saying, it's always the Jesuits. Yep, they're always
When
right
in doubt.
in the middle of it. Ace of Spades says that the Christians are the equal foot soldiers in history.
They
They're
are.
the ones getting the dirty deeds done dirt cheap, except I can't talk about that today. Not here. Not here. Can't do it.
You can
Let's see
do
what we
it.
got. It's the damn Christians. Yep. It's the damn Christians.
Can't trust
With
them.
all the money that's pouring in, somebody should have won by now. That was Joni. Okay, what have we got going on in the YouTube chat room? Rider on the Storm says, Christy, how you healing? I'm healing pretty good, Trella, until I jumped off the damn ladder and hurt my leg again. Cynthia's healing pretty. She got that mouse on her head, that knot on her head, but there's no blurred vision. There's no.
That's good.
Seems like there's no
Concussion.
indications of a concussion or anything.
That's
Johnny
good.
D says Galactic Cat doesn't really work. Bro, she just said she loves her Focus Life Force Energy. Do you think she'd be loving it if it didn't work? Of course It works. Of
Of
course,
course.
it works. Mind tripping. You are completely right. Let's see what else we got up here. I'm looking for pithy, remarkable comments. No stitches needed. That is a bonus. Let's see. Do send Cynthia good vibes. Send good vibes to Florida.
Definitely.
All the people that are going through it down there. I guess I made it out of Clearwater just in time. Just in time. Okay, so let's dive in one more time. I'll try to check every
Let's
now and
dive
again
in.
for comments in the chat room. So it is with the temple. History tells us, and we know who history is, Jesuits and Calvinists,
Yep.
led by the you-know-whoodies. History
Limbs.
tells us that
Soviet
the first
regime.
temple, according to the Hebrew Bible, was built during the reign of King
I like the you know
Solomon
hoodies. That's good. I like that.
in the
Dude.
10th century BC. And its construction and identity are now being hotly debated by most scholars. Now, previously, most scholars accepted the biblical narrative of the temple's construction as authentic, but during the 1980s, scholars began to doubt whether any temple at all was ever constructed in Jerusalem in the 10th century BC. One of the reasons why is because there's absolutely no direct evidence that has ever been found for the existence of Solomon's temple.
What a
I've been
shock.
studying this now for over 40 years. It's just beyond me to believe that. But it's true. I do the math, and I double check the math, and I use the calculator.
Did you carry the one?
But after all of this work
He
and all
uses
of
the
this study,
calculator.
150,000 plus hours, and you can do the math. I started when I was 18. I do this almost full time since then. Probably a little light, but hey. I conclude that the stories of Solomon's temple and Herod's temple, which are the first and second temples, these stories have been compilated together. These stories have been mixed together. The lore has been mixed together. The history's been mixed together. The traditions have been mixed together. The tall tales have been mixed together. The fish stories have been mixed together. All of the stories, the data, the information that we know concerning the first and the second temples are really a mishmash compilation of all this information pressed together. And it's anybody's guess which one applies to which, but we're pretty sure there was no Solomon's temple. So Solomon's temple is to be looked at as an analogy, as an allegory, as a spiritual lesson. And when we're talking about actual temples, we have to look towards a second temple to apply any of that data. And yet, we're not even sure that the second temple, Herod's temple, ever stood, because there's really almost no historical empirical evidence that even the second temple existed.
It's all made up.
Evidence that even the second temple existed. Solomon's temple, though? Nah.
Nah.
And funny enough, rituals and Freemasonry are where we really get most of our knowledge and understanding and most of our itchiness of wanting to talk about the Solomonic temple from rituals within Freemasonry.
Interesting.
Cynthia says, I just got a text from Cynthia. She says, I just looked in the mirror. I'm starting to look like a Klingon. Actually, honey, you're starting to look like a Romulan.
That's what I was gonna
But we
say.
understand.
Romulan.
You look more like a Romulan. And that's good news because the Romulan chicks were much, much hotter than the Klingon chicks. In my learned opinion. Learned opinion. And I want to go back and thank a little bit late Kirk Porch for a $20 tip on Rockbend. I want to thank Peter LaShawn for a $10 tip on Rockbend saying, great message. So thank you folks for that. It is all greatly appreciated. And you are fine and wonderful people. Also, a yearly subscriber from Kirk Porch on Rockbend. Thank you, sir. I'll try to do enough good work to make you believe that that was worth it, and I certainly do believe that that was worth it. It's good stuff over there, and I think that you'll be very, very appreciative for and very, very satisfied with the service that you get. So, Freemasonry rituals, Freemasonry lore, Freemasonry influence that refers to King Solomon and the building of his temple is really almost by and large what we get our information from, and that's a very big tell. Keep that in the back of your mind. Masonic buildings where lodges and their members meet are sometimes called temples, which is an allegoric reference to King Solomon's temple. And Kabbalah, we got Freemasonry, we got Kabbalah. Kabbalah views the design of Solomon's temple as representative of the metaphysical world and the descending light of the Creator through the Sephiroth of the Tree of Life. Another huge tell. In the veil of the Holy of Holies and the inner part of the temple represent the veil of the abyss and the Tree of Life, behind which the Shekinah or the divine presence hovers. And remember, we've discovered, we've proven that the Shekinah, the divine presence, was not the divine presence of the Bible God, but the captured goddess Sophia, entrapped between the wings of the chimeric reptilian chimera, her energy being drained and stored within the Ark of the Covenant, and the energy that was produced by the diabolical Yahweh when he serially raped his own mother, Sophia, in the temple. And then he goes on to tell the story of how he raped the mother of the so-called Jesus character as well. Yes, we've documented it all. It's right here on this channel, all within the past few days.
Yep.
So if you want to know, it is all right here. Deep, huh? Deep.
That's the way I like it. I like
deep,
to get deep.
And we're glad to bring it to you. So, not only that, we're told that Solomon's temple was built by special demon technology. That's
Not
right.
surprising.
The jinn built the temple for Solomon. And Solomon controlled
I'm not a jinn guy,
with
more of a whiskey
magic
guy.
ring. Here's another huge tell, ladies and gentlemen. The temple, i.e. the second temple, which I do think was real, and I'll give you my reasons for it here in a moment. The second temple was built using technology from another place, beings from the other side, beings from beyond, which
Hebrew
Solomon
means
used
people
some
from the
type
other
of
side.
magical contraption, which reminds me,
Other
I don't
side
have
of
on my
what?
ring. Put on
Yep,
my ring.
that's where the other side is, if you know what I mean.
Solomon
Place you
used
can't
this
go.
ring to order these entities to build a temple for him. I read this as a clear allusion to the kidnapping and enslavement of Sophia. Sophia was attacked, kidnapped, and enslaved by an assembly of diabolical, demonic, archontic entities.
AKA archangels and angels. Because they're all archons.
So the whole story starts with a jinn, which is where we get the word genie, by the way. And not the hot kind of genie that was always shaking her cute little ass for Major. Was it Major
It's an
Nelson?
MTF though, so
I think it was Major Nelson.
Jeff loves those MTFs.
Tony Nelson. But anyway.
Oh,
where
Hollywood
we get the word
actors are
genie.
MTFs.
And Solomon supposedly caught this jinn, stealing gemstones. And he would use the gemstones to suck out a little bit of the sun's energy.
Interesting.
I think that's a play on words. S-U-N, standing in for S-O-N. Yeah, I said it, and I meant it. And it's confirmed by another version of the same story where this jinn was
suck out a little bit of the sun's energy. Oh, that's a little bit too much.
Sucking out the sun's energy.
It's a little too much.
Song that Elton John had the song "Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me." Michael Jackson was going to remake that, and it was going to be "Don't Let Your Sun Go Down on Me." Do you remember that one? Well, maybe you missed that one, but it's the same thing.
Oh, you sick puppy, my kind of guy.
Don't let your son. Hey, good.
Down on me.
There's two big reasons, but anyway. Drinking the blood of a boy. Now we get down to the real story. Because the vampire story does have roots in Hebrew tribal
Oh yeah,
religion.
definitely. They
And
have
then
lots of
Solomon,
rituals.
who had caught this entity, this jinn, sucking out the little son, drinking the blood of a boy.
Jeez.
Solomon then asked Yahweh, the God of the Bible, to do what?
Yeshua.
To make the wicked spirit work for him. And guess who arranged the deal?
Archangel Michael.
Archangel Michael
Wow.
appeared.
Of course.
And gave Solomon the ring that allowed him to control demons.
Ooh.
The Archangel Michael. How many of you unsophisticants have a picture of Archangel Michael on your wall right now?
Not me.
Don't raise your hand. Don't embarrass yourself. How many of you unsophisticants pray, talk, channel the Archangel
Lots of
Michael?
people do. They're
You might want to reconsider
yeah.
that
They're
activity.
being possessed
It's just
by
a
an
suggestion.
archon, yeah.
You might want to reconsider that activity. It's just
My
a
mom had angels all
suggestion.
over the house.
Linda
She was
Ferguson
possessed for
is
sure.
here as well.
Still is.
Interesting pagan ideas are used over and over, jealously taking credit for pagans' work and hating at the same time, says Ace of Spades.
Yep.
Right on.
They do.
John Peters says she was too hot. Hot of what?
He likes
I missed
MTS
something.
too.
Two Trees is here. Nice to see you, Two Trees. Freemasons appropriated pagan lore and uses. You're exactly right, Pedro.
Yep. Pedro's a smart
All
man.
right, let's see.
My man Pedro.
Isn't there a gold-topped mosque there now? Yes, there is.
Oh, of
Eli
course.
says not into women, but I agree with you, Jeff. Agree with me about what? About what? But anyway, that's okay. Unless it said something in reference to a hot chick, and that's okay. That's
Hot
okay.
chicks are fantastic
we
as
do
long
that
as they're
from time
real
to
women,
time.
not like
We
the
do that from time to time.
high-end
Let's look into
MTF
the
actresses in
YouTube
Hollywood.
chat room. What do we got
Ooh.
going on here? Surely lots of good stuff going
course.
on.
Always.
Let's see. I don't pray to archons. Good for you, Freedom DAGR. Lots and lots of people do.
I don't.
Lots
Definitely
and lots
not.
of people do.
I said pray,
sick.
P-R-E-Y.
Yes, indeed, they are. My friend showed me some thin turkeys. Thin turkeys? How do we get thin turkeys into this?
It's Thanksgiving here in Canada.
Sophia reminds me of Gaia. She should, Brother Nor, because there's really two names for the same person. Trellis
Tomorrow's
says,
Turkey
laugh out
Day.
loud, even with a wound. Hello, Claire. Nice to see you. Sorry you got a goose egg, Cynthia. You're still beautiful. She is. And
Very
she
beautiful.
does got a pretty damn good goose egg. A pretty damn good goose egg. Diane, 9544. Nice to see you. Didn't demons construct the temple? Sophie Lovebug weighing in, and probably before me. Yes, absolutely. Diane saying temple, Knights Templar, temple, Masonic, Earth. Yes, absolutely. Oh boy, unindoctrinated got one of his comments removed. I think that's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. Borg got him. How about that?
Borg God,
How
Steve
about that?
Borg,
I
showing
like it. I
response.
love it. I want some more.
Steve Borg,
of it.
resistance.
Romulans are hotter, says Eli. No doubt about it. But I mean, if we're gonna talk about the hotness of fake aliens, the Romulan definitely ranks higher than the Klingon. But Eli, that hot Vulcan on
Vulcan.
Star Trek Enterprise, T'Pau, I think her name was. Wow, super duper hot. So I put the Vulcans in the hotness scale, the Star Trek fake alien hotness scale. We have to put the Vulcans, T'Pau, on top. Number 2, there's been some hot Romulans. Number 3, they're way, way down there. Colleen with a really good point saying that Pope Francis wears a special
He
ring. She said
does.
Pipe Francis, but I know what she meant.
Pipe.
I knew what she meant. I'm a professional.
He probably
I can
smokes pipes
interpret.
too.
I can interpret. Oh, Steve Borg says that he was just keeping the channel safe. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Oh yeah, he mentioned the
Good stuff going on here tonight. Good stuff going on here tonight. I'm not gonna
the
lie, I'm looking at
non-code
Gap right
word
now
for the lems.
because
You know what I mean?
I got 5 little answers here. It's interesting. Let's see if I got anybody. Yeah, okay. Let's go ahead and just mute this person. Some of these people are just so childish. So childish.
I love it when he bans it.
Alrighty then. Let's go ahead and move back into the deprogram. Let's talk first about nanosoma.
Fantastic.
We know about the stuff in the sky. We know about the stuff in the
Stuff
food.
in the sky
We know
that
about
make
stuff
trails.
in the water. We know about the stuff that people get put into them through various means. And we know that we're fighting a battle.
Put something into them.
And we know that we need some help. Nanosoma. 5 sprays under your tongue. When I go out among the normies, I'll hit myself with a few more sprays just to be careful. Because nanosoma optimizes your body to heal itself.
I need to get me some more nanosoma.
And to take everything out of your body that's not supposed to be there. And right now, when you order your 3-pack of nanosoma, which is the best way to do it, that's the way Cynthia and I do it.
I used to always get the 3-packs as well.
3-pack of nanosoma. You can also get a free nanosoma topical gel. And of course, Cynthia bonked herself on the head. She put the nanosoma topical gel on the wound. Said it started feeling a lot better.
It on
and
skin.
I believe that it really does. And you want to use this code, bonus gel.
Not boner gel, bonus gel.
The offer ends October 2nd.
You can use it for boner gel, but the code is bonus
so go
gel.
to jeffreydarty.com, get your 3-pack or more of nanosoma, and get your free bottle of the Metasoma topical gel. Cynthia uses the Metasoma gel on her face first, then puts the Metasoma face cream on it, and she looks absolutely ravishing. I use it for bites and cuts and bruises and anything you would use topical applicants on, and it is just fantastic stuff. And now, and it's usually, I mean, it's I think it's a little more than the regular nanosoma, so it's a great opportunity. jeffreydarty.com, nanosoma, buy your 3-pack and get a nanosoma Metasomer topical gel absolutely free. How many of you interact with Archangel Michael? You guys are smarter than this. You girls are smarter than this. What are you thinking?
Nope. No thanks.
I don't know what it is. Smart people want to F around with Archangel Michael. Don't do it. He runs demons. He runs archons. He is an archon. An angel is an archon.
That's right.
They're chimeric. They're reptilian. They work for Yaldabaoth, Yahweh, the bad guy. They helped enslave our great goddess Sophia.
Yeah.
They helped her serial rape over many, many years. They set up the lie that is Christianity that has stolen years from many of us.
Mm-hmm.
You might want to rethink your interactions with Archangel Michael. Just a friendly reminder. And Archangel Michael said that when Solomon wore the ring, that all the demons of earth, both male and female, would be under his command.
Wow.
Isn't that nice?
That's nice.
This story, to me, as I read it, as a scholar, it's both a confession of dark magic power in the temple and an analogy to the capture of Sophia. In my opinion, my studied, learned opinion, there was no Solomon's temple save for its dark lessons. And part of the information thus far in the deprogram was taken from a website called holyblasphemy.net.
Nice.
So,
Holyblasphemy.net.
No Solomon's temple. Herod's temple? What do you think about Herod's temple? The second temple. We're told by history that it was originally a very modest structure. And during the reign of Herod the Great, it was completely refurbished and overhauled into the large edifices more recognized in the modern recreated models. You notice that there's modern recreated models because nobody ever saw the real thing.
No.
This, to me, this description of the refurbishment and the overhaul in the time of Herod the Great, this is likely the demonic, archontic. I like the word archontic better because demonic is too Christian and it takes us down
Yeah, Contic, I like it
rabbit
better
trails.
too.
It's likely the archontic, then why didn't you write archontic, somebody said. Yeah, point well taken. This is likely the archontic refurbishing, spoken of as being led by Solomon, man of the sun. It doesn't necessarily mean Solomon, it means anybody running that show. And it indicates that there's magical archontic powers possessed and passed on by the rulers of the Jewish temple. Now, this, in my learned opinion, is when Sophia was kidnapped. Probably right after this refurbishment, probably right after this overhaul. She was kidnapped. The temple stood for 420 years before its destruction in 70 AD, but I think it was only refurbished less than 100 years. I think it's further on in the deprogram. So this is how long Sophia was held captive. This is how long Sophia was serially raped by Yahweh.
Wow.
Did the second temple exist, or is it just another ghost story? You've heard my opinion, but it's based upon textual information. My bet is that it did. It did exist. But whether it didn't, the period between the construction of the second temple and its destruction in 70 AD by the heathen pagan Romans. This was not Christians that destroyed the temple. It was heathen pagan Romans.
Right on.
They destroyed the temple. They destroyed Jerusalem in 70 AD, we're told. And it witnessed major religious changes that would affect Abrahamic religion, especially Judaism, and Christianity. And what were some of the things that were changed in a major way after the destruction of Jerusalem? One, the authority of Scripture. You know that the Christians are all about the authority of Scripture now, except they don't obey it, but they say one thing, they do another. What are you going to do? The centrality of the law, morality and religion. Morality and religion. Sounds like a contradiction in terms, doesn't it? But basically what this morality and religion is referring to is this idea that when a man looks at a woman and says, damn, she's fine, then he has committed adultery, and adultery is a capital offense.
Man, I commit adultery every day.
This rising up of a false pseudo-morality that goes against everything that is natural and honorable and productive in pagan heathenry is one of the things that changed very dramatically and grew out of the destruction of the temple in AD 70. Why? Because Sophia escaped. So this idea of morality and religion, which means don't touch yourself, don't have sex, it's bad, it's dirty, it's rotten, it's evil, that's as wrong as it can be. And we're learning and discovering in this group that our sexual energy, it's called orgon energy, and it is probably the most powerful energy that exists. It's the same energy in a pure form that was present in the Holy of Holies, in the Ark of Covenant, in that perverted form. It's the same energy in the pure form that existed and got stored in the Ark of the Covenant when Yahweh was raping Sophia. We have the pure form of it. That was a perverted form. And in the perverted form, it could knock down the walls of Jericho. They didn't fall over. They went down flat into the earth. That's a lot of power. It was perverted energy. Imagine what pure energy can do. And do you know that the reason why the people that produce, promote, and profit from pornography, you know who they are?
The Soviet regime.
This is why they have us pagan heathen, Aryan people using their pornography. Because when we use pornography to motivate, to inspire our sexual activity, be it solo or with our
Solo.
sex
I'm rolling
partner.
solo. I'm
Ooh, there's a
rolling
good point
solo.
right there. No matter if it is between pagan and heathens, because it's motivated and inspired by the pornography, they get all the energy. So what we're striving to do is stop using pornography as a motivator. Stop using pornography as an instigator. Stop using pornography to get yourself going. Because when you do, all the energy that's produced goes to the bad guys. If you can begin to focus on men, beautiful, pagan, heathen, goddess archetypes, and if you can begin women to focus on beautiful, pagan, heathen, God archetypes, they don't get the energy. And we are already causing a severe energy shortage in the cabal. Do you really think that we bring this out less than a month later the queen's dead? That's not a coincidence. We're getting great reports. It's true. It's real. And I've got to say this. The only activity that produces... No, I'm going to leave that alone. I'll leave that alone. And then you can begin to use it not just not to give them power, but you can use it for power and change in your own life, within your own people, and even right down to Sophia, or right up to Sophia as it is, or as it were. So that's what we're talking about when we're talking about AD 70 bringing about this perversion of morality and religion, and also apocalyptic expectations. All of this developed in this AD 70 post-destruction of the temple period. Isn't that amazing? The authority of Scripture, the Bible, yes, that's the book for me. I stand alone on the Word of God, the Bible. Drink up, bitches!
No alcohol, but I'll drink to that.
Morality and religion. Apocalyptic expectations.
Hopefully get some tomorrow.
Let me give you
if it's open.
A bomb. Here's a bomb.
Maybe get some birthday
Judaism
gifts.
as we know it, Christianity as we know it, which is Judeo-Christianity. Judaism and Christianity as we know them today were invented after the destruction of the Jewish temple. Judaism and Christianity as we know it today were invented after the destruction of the Jewish temple. 100% true. No fear of contradiction. And no fear of anybody with enough testicular fortitude to actually want to have a discussion about it live on air. No fear of that. Let's talk about testimonies of the Second Temple. Jeff, you say you believe the Second Temple existed. You say you believe it because of testimonies and of evidence. Well, where is it? Philo, even though he was Jewish, was usually a very reliable historian.
That's not very
In
often.
my historical studies. Also have a Bible college degree. I've got an associate's degree in geography, a lot of history in that. Philo, typically a usually reliable historian. He wrote about the existence of the Second Temple in Jerusalem. Philo said that Herod's temple was real. And even though Philo lived in Alexandria, Egypt, he was said to have personally visited the temple at least once in his life, which would be pretty difficult to do if there was no temple.
True.
Probably the best argument and the best testimony for the existence of a Second Temple comes from Emperor Caligula himself.
Ooh.
Do you know that Emperor Caligula had plans to put a statue of himself inside the temple?
Okay.
If there was no temple, he wouldn't be raising all that hell to try to put a statue of himself within a temple that didn't exist. So this information, along with some other artifacts I'm aware of, like coinage bearing the image of the temple, lead me to believe and to conclude that Herod's temple did exist. The second temple was real. Other things that lead me to believe, including some of the great research that John from Tulsa has done, that I've also copied, that there was clearly sacred prostitution in the court of Gentiles and women in the second temple at Jerusalem. You can't have sacred prostitution in the court if the court didn't exist, and if the court was there, then the temple was there. So sacred prostitution in the court of the Gentiles and women was real, so the second temple was real. The captivity and serial rape of Sophia in the Holy of Holies was real, so the second temple was real. Sophia's escape, leading to the destruction of the temple of Jerusalem in 70 AD by the heathen, pagan Romans, was also real. Ergo, the temple was real. I'm almost positive the temple was real, folks. As positive as I can be without having seen it myself. And I haven't, and you haven't, so we don't know. We also don't know what's going to happen regarding bodies coming into our space here, for lack of a better word. Call it Nibiru, call it Planet X, call it Hercolubus, like I do. We're seeing more and more of these. What are they called, Cynthia? They're called. I always call them ejaculations, but they're actually.
Yeah.
What the heck are these things called? They eject energy out of the sun, and it affects the electronics here. You know what I'm talking about. We could have grid down situations. We could have very, very bad EMF, EMP situations.
Yep.
Seth and I have made this not a worry because we have put the EMP shield on our truck and on our home. Go to jeffreydarty.com and click on the EMP shield button. It'll give you peace of mind, and it just might save your life.
Right on.
Very, very powerful, very, very powerful piece of equipment. So, I should take a break, but I'm going to plow right on through. And if you just can't get enough Jeff tonight, starting at 10 p.m. Central Time, you can hear 2 more hours of Live from the Heartland on WBCQ Shortwave Radio. Go to WBCQ.com for the listing in your area. So let's look at Matthew 24. Now, most of you think you know what Matthew 24 is all about. What if I told you that you don't have any idea of what Matthew 24 is all about? Because they've been lying to you from the get-go.
They always do.
What if I told you that?
They want to tell us the real story.
What if I just proved it to you? Wouldn't that make it a little bit better?
Yes, it would.
And I want to show you how you have been lulled into just reading over things. Most Christians don't read the Bible. Go ahead and try to prove me wrong. Most Christians don't read the Bible.
Not
and even
correctly.
those that read the Bible don't read the Bible.
They don't know how to read it properly.
You just blow right past it. You think you've read it, but you haven't read it. Like, for example, I'll just give you this for free, then we'll show you in the actual text. As Jesus left the temple and was walking away, his disciples came up to him to point out the buildings. You read that without even thinking about it. But let me show you what is not really hidden. It's just in the text, but you never take the time to read it in the text. Because the word left means was coming out of. As Jesus was coming out of, not just the temple, but the original language shows he was coming out of the outer court of the temple, the court of women and Gentiles, this site of sacred prostitution. And he was walking away from a personal meeting, says the original text.
You like the hooers.
Do you see the implications?
Hooer?
Jesus was coming out of the outer court where the women and Gentiles and sacred prostitution was, where he had a personal meeting. That
I,
opens
I
up
like
some very
personal
unique
meetings.
possibilities,
Any
doesn't
ladies
it?
want to have a
And the
personal
disciples
meeting?
came up to him. They had not been with him during
Non-swimmers,
this
of course.
personal meeting in the court of the women and the Gentiles. Just like they weren't with him in Matthew 26 when he brought the boy with him to the Garden of Gethsemane and said, "You guys hang on here. I'm going a little further with this boy, just me and him," who later wound up naked.
Oh boy. It's always a naked boy involved.
Let me show you how this works.
Whether it's
Because you're like, no way,
Yahweh
he's lying.
or current
Really?
priests.
Lying. Really? Do you have the guts to believe the text that you say is all inspired
Show us
by
the proof. Bring the receipts,
Word of
JD.
God,
Bring the
prophet,
receipts,
doctrine,
big guy. I'm just trying to fix this
exhortation?
flag right here. Got an hour to
Do
go.
you believe what you say you believe?
Let's fix this flag.
Well, let's see.
This tape actually held up pretty
24.
good.
Even they say temple destruction foretold. It's not what it's about. I'll give you a little preview peek. So we're going to click on this one. It's going to take us to a more literal rendering. And then,
There you go.
as
So that
Jesus
sticks up
left
for a little
the temple,
longer.
this is exactly what I showed you. As
Better
he
than the
was
other tape from the other
coming
night.
as he was coming out of, as he was erkomai, he was coming out of, he was walking away from what? Not just from the temple. Jeff, how do you know it was the outer court? Because it says specifically the outer court. Jesus was walking out of the outer court. He was carrying his holy ass.
He's
The
carrying
one
his
that had
holy
formerly
ass.
been covered with golden frilly diapers that night in Bethlehem.
Ah,
That's how Ricky
So
Bobby
much
saw
for
his
that.
Jesus. Who are you to judge Ricky Bobby for how he sees his Jesus? Now, if Jesus was still wearing golden frilly diapers, then there's some judgment, but hey, you never know what's going on in this world today.
golden frilly diapers.
He was in the outer court, which is where the court of the women and Gentiles were. I didn't say it. The Bible says Jesus was leaving the outer court. And he was walking away.
Walk this way.
He was walking away,
Walk this
which
way.
emphasizes the personal meaning aspect of the language.
Bow chicka wow wow.
Wow. Jesus was walking out of the court of the Gentiles and women where sacred prostitution was after having a personal meeting. And then his disciples came up to him. They approached him. They drew near, which means they were not near. They were far, so they came up there. They weren't with him during this personal meeting. Okay? And then they said to him, "What the hell is wrong with you?" This is how I read it. They said to Jesus, "Do you see all these things?" Now look, do you really think they're saying to him, "Jesus, do you see this? Do you see this temple?" How many damn times had Jesus been to the temple? How many damn times have the disciples been to the temple? He's not saying, "Hey, Jesus,
Listen,
look
an
at
hour
this
to my
whole
birthday.
temple." They've been there 100,000
Party.
times. They're Jews. They've been to the temple countless times. They're not saying to him, "Hey, Jesus, did you notice the unique construction of this temple? Did you notice this over here?" No, they're not saying that. It doesn't make any sense. So what are they saying to this joker? They're like, "Bro, do you see? Can you perceive? Can you discern? Do you freaking understand, Jesus? All these things.
They're coming out of my mouth.
All these damn people. What are you doing? Are you out of your mind?
Yup.
You're coming from the whorehouse, and all these people are seeing you, and they know that you're Jesus. Who do you think you are, Jimmy Swaggart?
He had the swagger going.
Swaggart moment.
Jimmy Swaggart moment.
Jesus says, no, Jesus is leaving the whorehouse, walking away from a personal meeting. The disciples come to him and say, "What the
Probably
hell's
smoking
wrong?
a
Don't you see
cigarette.
all these people? Do you see them right there?
was good.
Don't you see all these he's and she's? Don't you see all these
So
people?
good.
You've been to the damn temple. Don't you see all this? They're going to find out that you're a fraud. They're going to say, "What's he doing hanging out with hookers?" stoop a hooker or
They're
not.
just trying to pay for their
That's none of my
college.
business.
Come on. You're basically helping them graduate. Pay for their
Not
college.
quite what we're taught that he was all about, but anyway. So then Jesus turns on me and says, listen, truly I tell you. Truly I tell you. Let me go back a minute.
Oh,
Jeff,
excuse
you just can't
me.
say that Jesus was coming for hookers and just leave it. Okay, agree. Let me go back to that in a minute and say that it looks to me like Jesus was probably hanging out with some hookers.
And now it's getting
Maybe he
good.
was just visiting
Now I
his
should
mom
like.
here who was a temple prostitute. And they're like, dude, don't you know if you can figure out your mom's temple prostitute, that won't look good.
That's not good.
Or maybe he was stupid prostitutes. I don't know. All I know is that he was coming from the prostitutes. They're like, damn, boy, what's the matter with you? You're going to wreck our whole thing here. I think they were rebuking him. Don't you see where you are? What if the scribes and Pharisees see you
He didn't have enough money. Trying to get freebies.
See him coming out of whorehouses. Because Matthew 9:11, and notice it's 9:11.
Notice that.
When the Pharisees saw this, they asked his disciples, why does your teacher eat with tax collectors and whores? The word can be either one.
Sinners, whores, yeah.
So the Pharisees did see his Jimmy Swaggart ass in the Lincoln Continental down in Nolans when he was supposed to have his ass up in Baton Rouge.
In the VIP suite.
The Pharisees said, why is Jesus Swaggart down in Baton Rouge hanging out with Deborah Murphy?
Jesus Swagger.
No, but she's held my penis. And then John 8:22.
Hey, it's not his
Early
hand.
morning, he went back to the temple courts. Same
I
word,
don't
he went
mind when
back
they
to the
hold my
whorehouse in the
penis. It's
morning.
all good. Look,
Whorehouse
Mom,
in the
no
morning,
hands.
Whorehouse in the evening, whorehouse at noon, whorehouse at night. Jesus was horny, but why didn't he come back? Yeah, he had to come in 2,000 years.
Whores need loving too, though.
But anyway, in the morning he went back to the temple. All the people came to him. See, the Pharisees said, hey, he's hanging out with whores. People started watching for it. He goes back to the whorehouse, and the people there came up to him. Said, yo, what are you doing? And he's like, right on the ground. So he's caught. He's like, doodling, what am I going to do? Then the Pharisees come up with one of the whores, a temple prostitute. Another way to look at it, isn't it? Another way to look at it. And Jesus straightened up and he said to them, what is that word, John 8:7, straighten up? I wonder if that means like he put his robes in order. I wonder if that means he put his robes in order. Let me let you behind the curtain. You know, some guys say they talk to the, father, mother, sister, brother. They channel the Archangel Michael. They studied all the great books for however long they were stuck somewhere they didn't want to be. I just show you what to do for yourself because it ain't about me, brah. You don't have to trust me. All you have to do is trust you. Now, if you want to see what John 8:7 meant when it said he straightened up, you just come over here, Bible Hub, you go to John.
Go to
You go to
8.
chapter 8. John chapter 8. You come over
7.
here, get the King James Version, bless God, because everybody loves the King James. Then you go into
Especially
verse
other
7.
men.
Is it John 8:7?
Yeah.
John 8:7.
Ads.
John 8:7. Here it is, yeah. So he straightened up. What does that mean, he straightened up? It means he raised himself up. He looked up. He was elated. He raised himself up.
I'd be elated too if I was in a whorehouse.
He had a chance. He was to unbend himself because he was bent over, probably hiding his face because he was embarrassed. He's writing on the.
Or maybe he was taking it. He was bent over. He's taking it from the Gentiles, not the whores.
A different kind of opening this time. He straightened up and he said to them, let all you bitches and else have been in the whorehouse, first throw a rock at her. Ooh, that changes it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
All of these people were at the whorehouses. The scribes brought a whore.
Mm.
They said, Jesus, why are you with this whore? And Jesus had one of those aha moments. Can we say he had a come to Jesus moment? Did Jesus have come to Jesus moments? And he said, oh, I got it. Let you that has not done, well, Jeff, it doesn't mean that sin. Oh, yeah, it means exactly that sin. Watch this. Watch this. Let me show you something here. You see how it's all blue? I have a blue scripture without you. I'd be so blue interpreting without you. Words of Jesus.
Oh, better have another drink, even though there's no alcohol.
I'm giving you black and silver.
Just good practice.
Have a blue,
When I get some more Crown.
Okay, so when they see how it's all blue, that means we can go up to interlinear. So they are asking him. He said to them, how many of you? You see this hoe right here? Oh, it's a hoe. Oh, it's proof positive. It's hose. There's hose right here. But
It does say
that's not
ho.
really what I'm trying to say, but there are no coincidences. Hoe. It's hoe.
The ho
Same
train.
reason why they couldn't have the Ebonics Miss America. Because ain't nobody wanted to be representing Idaho. Ho! But it means it's the definite article.
Lots of
He's
hoes
not
in
saying
Idaho.
any of you that doesn't have sin. He's saying any of you without this one particular sin. Any of you without this particular sin. It's the definite article. It limits it to one particular thing. Bam! I'm good. So any of you bitches up here by the whorehouse yelling at me, if you haven't done this whore sin, then you be the first one to throw a rock at her. Then what did they say? One by one, they all started going away, right? One by one, they all started walking away. I know it was in here when they said that. Yeah, and having heard this, they're like, oh shit, yeah, they might have filmed me up in this bitch too. So they all began to go one away, including the scribes and the Pharisees, from the elders, even down to the scribes and Pharisees. Until left, it was just Jesus and the woman. And Jesus said to the woman, hey, you want to go again? But
Why not?
what he said to
Is
her
it
was,
free this time?
go away and don't tell nobody that little thing that I like. Don't tell anybody. It's our little secret.
Secret safe
Okay,
with
maybe
me.
all that wasn't there, but you get the point of what was there, right? That's why I'm the best in the world at what I do. That's why ain't nobody can do what I do. Or at least they don't have the guts to. See? You thought you read the Bible, but you didn't.
Nope.
Now you know how to read the Bible. When you read the Bible like that, it cures you from reading the Bible. I gotta see what they're saying over at Rockfin about this. Okay, I can handle the Jeff Sings drink game. I'm 3 beers in already. 38 big body, Bobby, booby loving Bob says he can handle it. Son of a B, says Bob. Linda laughs out loud. Wait, resurrection? Boom. Eli was thinking I need a beer. Linda says drink. Thus the resurrection. That's funny. Women were way more flexible back then. I don't get it. I don't get it. Is that like whipping the veil in the temple? The veil was ripped, not whipped. But that was a funny one. That was a funny one. They did have scarves. Pedro's laughing out loud. Are there pole dancers in the temple? Yeah, I bet they did.
Oh,
Jeff's on a rant.
guaranteed.
Okay, now what do we got on YouTube? Is that a Fozzie shirt, Jeff? Dagger wants to know, is this a Fozzie shirt? Well, Dagger, I gotta let you know for sure. Boom.
Yeah.
Fozzie.
Judas.
How
Sick.
interesting is that? It was we had Cynthia's grandson over, and she got bonked on the head with a big pipe, and not. It was a real pipe, metal pipe.
Not his pipe.
I'll just leave it right there. I'll just leave it right there.
Then I made some laying pipe comments like in the chat room.
Jeff, you got me rolling. Thank you, Diane. That's what I'm here for. Guess we're here to help people. I will give the non-swimming women a different kind anyway.
That's me.
Jesus, James, and fine form.
He would say my comments.
Jesus appeared to all and he said, "No time to talk, Allah." He means I got to tell you the vision. I'm not sure what that means, Wesley Curry. Wesley Curry, don't spam my chat, bro. I'm gonna take that out. Don't spam my chat, bro.
Don't spam the chat, bro. Come on.
Don't spam my chat.
Come on. Say my comments, GD.
But I will have a phone line. You can call me in. Let's see. Just how big of a load? Wow.
That's mine again.
What else we got? This takes Jesus hanging out the sinners to a whole new level. It does, Super Galactic. It does, Super Galactic. Nanosoma Shield. Food is 12% more than this time last year. Wow, that's terrible. And you're right.
Gotta love inflation.
I wish I saw the audio. It was creepy. Okay. If you'd like to unblock my number, I would debate your ass. I gotta call them up and figure out how to unblock numbers. I have to figure out how to
I told
unblock
Moran I
numbers.
could give her my calling card, but
You don't have me speechless. I just don't want to say what I want to say. Dagger. That's funny. All right.
I
Let's
love
get
playing
back
with
into
him.
the
It's hilarious.
program, then. This is good stuff, huh?
It is good stuff.
So, we got this whole thing. If any of you that had been hanging out with hookers, any of you that hadn't taken a turn, you throw the first rock. They all left. Jesus said, "Hey, you want to go again?" This is a scripted admission of the impending death of Judaism and the plot to revive Judaism via Christianity. Not that this. Because when they said to Jesus, when Jesus said to them, not one stone, here it is. Sorry, I got a little bit carried away. Matthew 24:2. Do you see all these things? Then Jesus said, listen, I'm going to tell you, not one stone will be left on another. Every one of them will be thrown down. Oh, that means the temple. The temple was taken apart. It was plowed. No, it doesn't. It doesn't mean that at all. Watch this. Watch this. Learn how to read the Bible. You didn't know I was going to teach you how to read tonight, did you? But watch. Here's how you read the Bible. That is not what Jesus said. And there's a parallel passage to this where Jesus said, destroy this temple and in 3 days I'll raise it back up. What temple was he talking about? He was talking about the temple of his body. Watch this. So we're still in John. So we got to go to Matthew. Well, Jeff, how do I get to Matthew? Relax. Take it easy. Just hit the drop in.
Taking it easy.
Matthew, just like this. But Jeff, I want to go to 24 right here. Cool. Drop in. Matthew 24. See how easy that was?
2-4.
It's like slipping into a warm bath.
Or slipping into a
Let's
warm.
just stay right here since we want to do
Do
interlinear.
some.
Matthew 24:2. In answering, he said to them, Do you see what I see? Do you see?
Oh, ads.
Wait,
Crappy
so she's
tire.
saying with auto care, I'll be able to review work anywhere?
Ooh, interesting.
Can you see, perceive, or discern? Because I need you to get something here. I need you to discern this. These things. Do you see these things? What are these things? Do you see me? Do you see me? Truly, he says. This is, I'm serious. I'm for reals, he said.
For reals.
Truly. I say to you that not even one shall be left here, not even one stone. What stone? Jesus as the chief cornerstone in the building. It's right there in the freaking Greek. Do you see it right there in the Greek?
Jesus is the chief
Jesus
cornerstone.
said, not
Interesting.
one stone will be left upon another. Do you see it right there? Jesus as the stone in the building. Wow, that's really good.
Hmm.
So when they walked out of the temple, they said, do you see these things? Jesus said, not one stone will be left one upon another. They'll all be torn down. He wasn't talking about the temple. Got nothing to do with AD 70. Got nothing to do with tearing the temple apart and plowing the plot. Nothing to do with the temple. He's talking about himself. He says, this, me, the chief stone will be torn down. Now, Jeff, where was that when you were talking about, he was talking about the temple of his body? Well, look what we can do. We can also search topically like this, temple of his body. Oh, look at this. It's just a damn shame that we got nobody, that we don't have more people watching this deprogram.
It is a damn shame.
John 2:21. Then said the Jew, okay, here it is. Jesus answered, destroy this temple, and in 3 days I'll raise it up.
Raise
He
the
spoke
roof. Ooh, ooh,
of the
ooh,
temple
ooh,
of
ooh.
his body. Wow. Wow. This is called reading the Bible. And you see, there's nothing magic. I'm not doing anything magic. I'm not doing anything you can't do. There will not be, I will not be left over. I will be thrown down. Genesis, or excuse me.
Lay the smack down.
I will be thrown down. I will be destroyed. I will be overthrown. I will be destroyed. I will be broken up. What is he talking about? What is Jesus talking about in this particular passage? Let me tell you what Jesus is talking about in this particular passage.
WWE
This
SmackDown.
is scripted prophecy. This is kosher disclosure. This is a scripted admission of the impending death of Judaism. Jesus was a Jew. Or if you like, it was the impending death of Jesusism, Judaism, and the plot to revive it via Christianity. Even if you don't believe that last part, there's no doubt that it's a scriptural admission of the impending death of Jesus, who was a Jew. Me, I'm the chief cornerstone. I'm going to be thrown down. What's the chief cornerstone of? The church. A Jew is the chief cornerstone of the church. Let me just give a little bonus to my white Christian identity
I
friends,
love bonuses.
of which I have none. But I want to
Me
ask you
too.
to explain this one to me. If you're not a Jew, then how do you explain this little passage? Watch me. For the Jew first, and also for the Gentile. Let's go to Romans. There will be trouble and distress for every human being who does evil, first for the Jew, then for the Gentile. But there will be glory, honor, and peace for everyone who does good, first for the Jew, then for the Gentile. Tell me again how your religion didn't start with the Jews. That was just a bonus. That was just free. We just threw that in for free.
Free.
But this
Free's
passage
good.
talks about a kosher disclosure of the impending destruction of Judaism.
Do you have an upcoming special event? A trade show, festival, community barbecue, or a social gathering?
And I submit it's an
I do. I have a birthday tomorrow.
attempt to
Well,
revive
is it today yet?
Christianity. So let's look
Ooh,
at
less
Matthew
than half
24.
an
Like we
hour.
never talked about it before. So they said to him, "When will these things be? What will be the sign of your coming to an end?" They weren't asking him when the world's going to end. They were asking him when he is going to be thrown down. Remember, he said, "I'm the chief cornerstone. I'll be thrown down." They're saying, "When is this going to happen to you? When is it going to end?" I'm extrapolating to say, when will Judaism be destroyed? The context demands this. Matthew 24 is about the end of Jesus that I submit represents the end of Judaism, not the end of the world. Even if you don't believe I'm right about it being the end of Judaism, you've got to admit, if you believe the text, that Matthew 24 is all about the end of Jesus, his death, his destruction as the chief cornerstone, because that's what the text says, period. You cannot argue with the text.
Nope. The
It
script.
says what it says.
It's their script.
And as we go on through Matthew 24, deception, wars, famines, earthquakes, it's still not the end. That's not the end of the world. This is before the end of Jesus, which means the end of Judaism. Now I'm going to get to prove it to you. Watch this, Matthew 24 and 9. Oh, this is so freaking powerful. So freaking powerful. Matthew 24, 9. This proves that it's not just the end of Jesus, it's the end of Judaism. And I'm going to leave it right there for a second. And we're going to take a short break. And we'll be back to finish this section up. And then we will also open up for your phone calls. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, live from the Heartland. And we'll be back right after this.
There were many false Jewish messiahs. Interesting. That's what's coming up. Oh. Well, that's each verse. That's Matthew 24, verse 11. I wonder if the flag will actually last for the whole 2 hours. Looks like it's going to hold up. Just that one corner that fell down. Might have to double that up tomorrow night for the big birthday bash. Woo!
Well, welcome back. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty. We're coming to you live from the Heartland. We appreciate you being here so very much. And I'm just going to remember to do it at the end. We're going to get right back into our D program here. We're showing you that Matthew 24 is not about the tearing down of the temple. We've already shown you explicitly that the Jesus character said it's about the tearing down of him as the chief cornerstone. And all of these deceptions, wars, famines, earthquakes, they're not the end of him. But another thing's going to happen. Then, says Matthew 24:9, they will deliver you over to be persecuted and killed. You will be hated by all nations because of, it doesn't say my name, it says the name. It's that definite article again, which means you will be hated by all nations because of the name. There's only one nation that constantly constantly whines and moans and groans and bitches
Yep.
and complains. And
Always.
they've been hated by all nations. We all know who it is. We all know who it is. But let's look at it in the text so I can show you exactly what I'm talking about. And I can show you, more importantly, exactly
Well, I've got some
what
good stuff to
is
post
being
on
discussed
Instagram
in
tonight.
the
Oh,
text,
yeah.
Matthew 24:9.
Jeff had some really good
Pull it
stuff
up
on
so you don't have to
Telegram
watch
today.
me. Pull it up. Matthew 24:9. Here we go. Yeah, my leg hurts from jumping off that ladder after I bonked my wife in the face with a heavy steel pipe. Didn't mean to do it. Then they shall deliver you up to be afflicted. They'll kill you. You'll be hated of all nations for my name's sake. It's so deceptive. Let's watch what it really says. Matthew 24:9. We're going to go interlinear. See, it's all blue. All right, boom. You will be, see again? Oh! It's a definite article. The name. The
Oh, there it
name.
is, the name.
You will be hated because of the name. Hashem. The name of the Hebrew God.
Hmm.
Who is hated through all the nations?
Kicked out of over 100 countries.
It's accurate. Everybody does hate him.
Yep.
Let's give it to him. It's accurate. It's accurate. It's accurate, folks. It's accurate. They've been delivered over. They've been persecuted.
It's like
They've
the old
been
saying,
killed. They've been
Christopher
hated by
Columbus
everybody because of Hashem.
was kicked
the
out
name,
of Spain
their God. Yeah, they've
because
been
he was
persecuted. Yeah,
a...
they've been killed. Yeah, they've been hated. And there might have been some reasons for it. But that's none of my business. But the point of this is that this is not about the destruction of the temple. This is about the destruction of Jesus and, by extension, the destruction of the Jewish people who've been persecuted, killed, and hated because of Hashem, the name. That's what the text says. And
No wonder
unlike
Hash gets a
Christians,
bad
I actually
name.
respect
Hashem
the text.
Hash.
the text, the whole text, and nothing but the text. That's how I roll. That's why they don't want none of this.
Rolling.
Oh, I gotta go back. I'm saying that Matthew 24:10 shows the advent of converso and crypto Jews.
Let's see.
Why do I say that? Well, watch this. Matthew 24:10.
Oh, another stupid ad. Stupid ads.
At that time, many will fall away and betray one another and hate one another. They will fall away. They will stumble. They will become indignant. They will betray. They will hand over pledge. They will abandon. They will hate one another. They will detest. They will become converso crypto Jews hidden away so people don't know that they're Jewish. And then it says, many false prophets will arise and come. There were many false messiahs in this time of AD 70, this first century. There was many false prophets. And then we go down to verse number 14, because it's a beautiful verse when you know what it means. Then this gospel will be preached into all the kingdoms. This gospel, do you know this word gospel was not a word until the cult of Roman emperors invented it. This word, they say, what they're going to show you is that this means good news. It's a lie. but it's only half a lie. They say it means the good news. Well, it does mean the good news. See, it's evangelion. It's a Roman word. It's a Latin word. It does mean good news. But what it really means is the good news of the victories of the divine Caesar. That's what the word means. Doesn't matter what you think. And if you want to be an ignorant, unsophisticated, lying scumbag, go ahead and deny it. But that's what the word means. And if you have any interest in actually studying and learning, you can find it out for yourself. The news of the victories of Caesar will be preached to all the world. And then the end will come. The end of what? The end that Jesus said, the end of him, and the end of the people who are being persecuted because of Hashem, the name. It's so easy.
Hash 'em up.
So easy
Oh, there goes another one.
Understand. It's so easy
Bottom one.
to understand. Well, it's so easy. Sing it with me.
Maybe it'll actually help
Yes,
hold
how
up for the
easy, it's so
next
easy.
20 minutes. We've got
Yeah,
4
I can
pieces
remember
left
the
holding it
rest
up.
of the
Is that one
silly
even on? No, I don't
song.
think it is.
It's so easy.
3 pieces left.
But you don't want it to
Yeah,
be
so that
easy.
painter's tape is
Because
not
you
good.
want to be greasy. Because you're those kind of people.
It ain't easy being
But
greasy.
not the cousins. Not the cousins.
No, definitely
They
not
want
us.
the real truth, the whole truth, and
Nothing but the truth.
That's why they keep coming back. And all this happened.
Yeah,
26 through
gotta
31.
deprogram your mind by
Yeah, 26
meditating
through
and
31
by
is all about,
deprogramming with JD.
talking about Matthew 24, 26 through 31. Lightning, sun darkening, moon not gives its light, powers of heaven shaken, sign of the Son of Man, great trumpet, gather together the elect from 4 winds. All that happened. All that happened in AD 70. It all happened at the destruction of the Second Temple in Jerusalem. It's not prophetic. They're not predicting that it would happen, and it did. They wrote it afterwards. This happened in AD 70. They wrote this down around AD 100. It's not prophetic scripture. It's scripted prophecy. It's a ruse, and you bought it. And then verse 32 puts it all in perspective. It says, learn a parable of the fig tree. What is the fig tree in Scripture, especially the New Testament? Israel. This is the final death of the fig tree, the final death of Israel, the final death of Judaism. If you don't believe me, in the first century, Jews lived across the Roman Empire in relative harmony. They were protected by Rome. They were allowed to continue their religion. Everything was fine. Until rebellion in Judea led a major change in the practice of the Jewish faith. In 66 AD,
Of course it was 66.
Jewish discontent exploded into open rebellion. 4 years later, the Roman army crushed the revolt, destroyed the temple. The sacred treasures were seized and shown off in a procession through the streets of Rome.
Oh, wow.
The destruction of the temple fundamentally changed the nature of Judaism. Taxes that were once paid to the temple were now paid to Rome, and the Jewish tradition of worshiping in the temple was over. Judaism was over. Jesus was over. The rabbis were over. It was put a fork in them. They're done. Stick a spear in him. He's done. Judaism was over, just like Jesus said it would be.
That would have been a good time. Good times, good times.
There's no doubt about it.
This is your world, your job, your crew, your cat compound.
This comes from a Jewish website. I forgot to write it down, but when Bar Kokhba's rebellion was over, Judea was once again a conquered territory under military occupation. This is after AD 70, the destruction. In Roman eyes, the inhabitants were defeated enemies with no rights at all.
Right
The
on.
victors could have treated the defeated Judeans in any fashion they wished. mass exile, total enslavement, even outright extermination. And they almost did. They killed everybody in Jerusalem. The people from Jerusalem that ran to Masada, they got killed. They killed everybody they could. But those who engaged in public reading of Torah were put to death.
Wow.
The Messiah's martyr was the venerable sage Akiba ben Yosef. All traditional Jewish practices were banned.
Ban those
AD 70 all
bitches.
the way to 138. That's like 80 years, right? 70. Yeah, it's about 80 years. Tell me again that Judaism wasn't over. It was.
It just keeps coming back.
But if you know anything about
They're
scripture
like an
prophecy,
STD.
you know that Matthew 24 is an exact parallel of Revelation chapter 6, verses 12 through 17. And just in case you don't know this, great earthquake, sun black as sackcloth and hair, moon as blood, stars of heaven fall to the earth, as a fig tree cast for untimely figs. Heaven departs like
Oh,
a
I love
scroll,
figs.
a scroll of Jewish
Fig
writing.
Newton's so good.
This is clearly
Even
another
real
view of
figs are
Matthew
good, like-
24, which is the destruction of
Oh,
Jerusalem.
real figs, I mean.
Matthew
Raw
24 and
figs.
Revelation are keys to biblical prophecy. They display without a doubt that Judaism was destroyed. Jesus was destroyed as the cornerstone of Judaism and Judeo-Christianity. The Messiah, that's the cornerstone. But baked into this was a scheme, the invention of which was to resurrect Judaism. What was this scheme that was invented to resurrect Judaism? Hope I have enough time to get through this tonight. Caesar's Judeo-Christian Messiah. Remember we had Joseph Atwell on. He wrote a book called Caesar's Messiah. You've got to read.
Yeah, you just did the show before that.
Was Jesus the invention of a Roman emperor?
That was the last late night that I did was Caesar's Messiah. Caesar's Messiah.
Explaining the New Testament,
it?
the real Jesus, and how Christ's second
Caesar's
coming already occurred. The clues are found
Savior.
in the writings of Flavius Josephus. Closely comparing the work of Josephus with the New Testament, Caesar's Messiah demonstrates that the Romans directed the writing of both, and they did. Their purpose? To offer a vision of peaceful Messiah who would serve as an alternative to the revolutionary leaders who were rocking first century Israel and threatening Rome, and would make us take a knee, bend over, spread both cheeks, and allow communism to surge through our land. Caesar's Messiah rocks your understanding of Christian history. It reveals that Jesus was a fictional character portrayed in books written not by Christians but by Romans. We've had him on the show. He's right.
Oh, there goes.
But allow me to add, if I could.
Oh, so close.
Closely comparing the work of Josephus
Ooh,
with
7
the New
minutes for my
Testament,
birthday.
Caesar's Messiah demonstrates that the Romans directed the writing of both to create a peaceful Messiah to serve as an alternative to the revolutionary leaders that were rocking first century Israel and threatening Rome. And, Jeffrey Darty says, to allow converso hidden crypto Jews to survive and thrive long enough to resurrect Judaism, albeit of a different type and kind. And they did this with the invention of Bible prophecy. Bible
Oh.
prophecy reframes the end of the temple and the end of Judaism and the end of Jesus and the end of Messiahism. It reframes it as a new beginning
Oh.
and predicts and creates a resurgence of Judaism so that it actually emerges victorious again over its pagan, heathen conquerors at the end of the age.
Brutal. We let them down. We
Destroyed
didn't put our...
Jerusalem. We, the pagan, heathen people, ruled the whole world.
We took our foot off their throats.
300 years later, when
Hmm.
It was all downhill from there. To the
Yep.
point that today, we don't even control our own country anymore.
Oh, it's brutal.
Earmuffs. This is what Jesus has done for the white man.
Yep.
Thanks a lot, Jesus. Now fuck off.
Fuck off, Jesus.
If you've ever known much about Bible prophecy, you've seen these little charts.
Their past, their present, their future. First coming,
I used to
second
preach these
coming.
charts up one side and down the other. These are written by Clarence Larkin. I had them in a big book. It was called The Greatest Book on Dispensational Truth Ever Written. Something.
Clarence Larkin.
See, here it is. The past. Here, it's the Jews. We all love the Jews. Their past was the law. Then came Jesus. Their present. You see, they've been dispersed. They're now
Aww.
in dispersion. But here comes the tribulation and the second coming.
Yeah,
And
right.
that means that their dispersion,
Another full
they're all
banner.
going to come back together, and they're going to be the crowned kings of the millennial kingdom. Yay!
At least I'm on the throne of David. I'll be on the throne.
Now,
I'll take him
again,
down.
You don't think that the destruction of Jerusalem is being reframed as it was the end of the Jew as we know it.
I
It was
feel
the end of
fine.
the Jew as we know it. I won't sing the rest.
I feel fine.
But they turned it around, and now they feel fine. I sense a little.
You ruined that
fuckery
song for
afoot.
me,
How
JD.
about you?
What is the end of the world as we know it if they keep
I sense a
running
little
the
fuckery
show?
afoot. How about you? It was the end of the Jew as we know it, but all of a sudden they feel fine.
Wow.
But what's one good chart but another good chart, right? Because here's another explanation of it. Okay?
Okay.
Because the millennium is when the Gentile nations will live under the Jews in blessing. Then the earth gets renovated by fire. And in this case, renovation means burning the whole damn thing up. When does getting burnt down mean renovation?
Yeah.
Here's a little, you ever heard of a thing called Jewish lightning? Boom, here's the ultimate expression of Jewish lightning. We're just renovating. By burning the whole thing to the ground.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it makes it perfect for their new heaven and their new earth.
Sort of
Anybody
like
sense
7-Eleven.
fuckery afoot?
Because they knew what was going on. Burnt it to the ground.
The millennial kingdom. After the destruction of Jerusalem, after they were spread throughout the nation, then comes the millennial kingdom, and they're back and better than ever. It was the end of their kingdom as we know it, but now those bitches feel fine. They're on the throne. They're heading up the tail. Wow. I sense a little fuckery afoot.
Just a little fuckery.
How do they do it? How do they accomplish it? By the rise of the crypto-Jew Jesuits.
Ah. Yes, the
Now, if you have any
Jesuits.
interest in history, you can study and learn that there was a significant portion of Roman royalty, Joe Atwell tells you in his book, that it interbred with and had Jewish family, and in some cases had become Jews themselves, or in other cases had been secret or crypto-Jews from the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
We know
They always love changing their names.
They pride themselves that they are experts at infiltrating royalty and governments wherever they go. As we sit here right now, they're 2% of the population of the United States and over 88% of the population of the cabinet of Joe Biden, which is down about 4 or 5% from the cabinet
Actually, it's
of
Beau
Donald
Biden,
J. Trump,
according
one
to
maggot tardy
Joe Biden's granddaughter.
friends, of which I
Joe
have
supposedly
none.
died 3 years ago.
With the destruction of the temple and the eradication of Jews from the empire, that means they were kicked out. They had to go into deep cover, and I mean deep cover crypto converso jewelry. It's shown in history, but it's distorted. Did you know?
They
You all
had
know
to go
about
into
the
deep crypto jewelry.
Inquisition, right?
Oh, that's
You all
funny.
know about the Inquisition, and you all know that the Jesuits ran the Inquisition, right?
Of course.
But what you don't know, and you need people like me to tell you, is that there was
Woohoo!
not
Midnight is
just
my
one
birthday!
Inquisition.
Happy
Inquisition was
birthday
some
to
shit they did a
me!
lot
Happy
of.
birthday!
And did you know that there was
43
one
years
specific
young.
Inquisition that was an Inquisition of the Jesuits?
Woo, woo, woo,
An
woo,
Inquisition
woo.
of the Jesuits. And this Inquisition of the Jesuits was launched because
Thanksgiving, thanks to me.
it became
Give
so
thanks
well
to
known
me.
that there were so many crypto Jews within the Jesuits that the Pope said, we got to do an Inquisition and clean these guys out. History records that the church actually had an Inquisition against the Jesuits. Why? To identify and eradicate the masses of crypto Jews within their number. They want us to believe that this happened in the 16th century. I submit to you that this is historical fuckery and that it really happened in the late 1st to 2nd centuries, right after the destruction of the temple.
Oh, they really wanted to get them out right away.
What do the rods say?
Oh, the rods.
Am I right, rods? The rods say yes. And we still haven't unpacked the rod stuff yet. I don't know where it is. I'm so sorry. If you want a refund, just ask me. I'll send it to you. But if you want to hold on a few days more, I'll get them out.
Ooh, double ad.
It was these hidden crypto Jewish elements within Roman royalty that allowed the smuggling of information into the new scriptures that would lay the groundwork for the eventual resurrection of Judaism.
Same thing happened in the
Christianity.
little
And I
blip
submit
there.
that it was Josephus who was given the task, because we know in AD 100 that they reinvented Judaism. It's called rabbinical Judaism. You couldn't have temple Judaism anymore. It was over. It was burnt down. So they went to rabbinical Judaism. It had to be rewritten. And it had to be rewritten because the Romans burned up every damn thing. So they rewrote, literally, Judaism, and they invented Christianity.
Crazy.
Who
They're
else
really
was better
dedicated.
positioned for that job than Josephus? And why did they spare his life? Yes, he gave him some secrets, but they also gave him a job to do. And it was Josephus that was given the task of rewriting Judaism and inventing Christianity.
Wow.
And it was Josephus himself that directed the creation of biblical prophecy. And in this sense, Josephus was the first Jesuit.
There you
Well,
go.
Jeff, you can't prove that. I think that's a pretty compelling case.
He just
But even if I
did.
can't prove that, what I can prove is that without one shred of any doubt, that all of modern Bible prophecy is exclusively the creation of Jesuit forces. 100% I can prove that. 100% I can prove that.
100.
And I'll use the book, September 23, 2017, Revelation 12 sign, by some guy named Jeffrey Darty. Let me pull this up. Don't worry, I'm not going to pull it out. I'm just going to pull this up. It's important that you listen to the language, or you might get yourself in a dither for no reason. It was a little joke, guys. Just a little joke.
A little joke.
Let's go ahead. Oops.
Way to go, Jeff.
Oops. My bad.
Oh, there it goes.
Come on.
I think I just pulled it when I stood up.
Okay, so let's. Oh no, I didn't. There's my
Oh,
YouTube. There's
sad
what did I
happening.
shut down? There's
Oh,
Robert.
it's not
There's
gonna
YouTube.
last
There's-
till it ends.
I didn't shut down anything that I can't live without. That's cool. Don't let me start pushing buttons. You never know where I'm going to wind up. But I'm looking for
I like
that
pushing
book so I can
buttons.
show you that all of Bible prophecy is Jesuit, without a doubt. Do you have a Google Drive? I know I don't like Google, but this Google Drive is really, really,
Might as well pull it. It's on the last legs.
really, really.
Don't want it to fall.
Really,
On the
really
ground.
cool. Let me show that.
Almost
Okay,
lasted the
so
full
use
2 hours.
PDF. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so are you ready? Can I make this any larger? Probably don't have to. Okay, so let's look at this real quick. We're going to show you that all of prophecy is 100% Jesuit, which started by the Jews, obviously. And here we go. This is a book I wrote a while back. It's got a lot of cool stuff in it. But we're just looking for the Jesuit part because there's no reason. See, there's another Larkin thing there. There's no reason to redo all this when I can just. And this has to do with setting dates. Anybody that sets a date is wrong, and you shouldn't listen to them. Okay. Let's talk about the Society of Jesuits. In 1545, can I make this a little larger? Yeah. Okay, cool. In 1545, Ignatius of Loyola started the Jesuits. They were involved in the Counter-Reformation, but that's not what we're talking about tonight. We're here to talk about prophecy. And this guy named Father Francisco Ribera.
Who's the king of prophecy?
Father Francisco Ribera, a Jesuit priest who wore the NFL logo way back then.
Yeah.
That's kind of amazing. Tell me again that it's okay to watch it.
He's an NFL. He's the
In
creator of the NFL.
1585, Ribera wrote Sacram Beati Ioannis Apostoli
Oh,
and
yeah.
Evangeliste Apocalypsis Commentaraj, which
Say that
means
3
the
times
sacred
fast.
writings of John the Apostle and commentary on the book of Revelation. He wrote his book and convinced people that the apocalypse applied to ancient Rome and the rest of Revelation is to a period of 3.5 literal years in the future prior to the second coming. And that the Antichrist, a single individual, not the Roman papacy, would rebuild the temple in Jerusalem, be received by the Jews, kill the 2 witnesses, and conquer the world.
Jeez. What a
In
clown.
short, he's the one that made up the 1260 days. The 1260 days is a Jewish Jesuit invention. The 3.5-year Great Tribulation, or 7 years, depending on your flavor, that's a Jesuit Jewish invention. In one fell swoop, he removed the collective cultural memory of the 1,500-year-old convictions of the church, the voices of the Reformation, and reframed everything into future biblical prophecy. His work introduced the teaching of futurism, refuting the teachings of the Protestant Reformation. And today, his historicist interpretation of history is non-existent, and the Jesuit futurist interpretation stands unopposed, almost except for people like me. It was Francisco Ribera who invented the rapture. It was Francisco Ribera who invented the Great Tribulation. It was Francisco Ribera who invented the mid-tribulation rapture, the post-tribulation rapture.
Oh, that
It
guy's
was
on
Francisco
fire.
Ribera who invented that the whole
Somewhere, Father Francisco Rivera is smiling. Yeah, oh shit.
somewhere, Father Francisco Ribera is still very, very fat.
Yeah,
He is smiling.
no
Folks.
doubt. Smirking more like it.
You know of his Bible prophecy was invented by the Jesuits. No ifs, no ands, and one great big fat stinking
So is
Jesuit
programming.
butt
Like Dr. Bruce Lipton said, the Jesuits created it. They say, give me a child in this first 7 years, we'll show you the man. So they program him for 7 years, and they basically program his whole life until you deprogram yourself. So they're sick, sick bastards.
But if you don't, I won't. Let's see. They're just wearing more clothes. Maybe, let's see what else we got here. It's slowly coming back. Linda, being silly. I like it. Okay, what have we got? YouTube, just want to check and see if there's any great stuff blasting out here. Words mean things. Matthew Garvin, absolutely. James here. Matthew Garvin's having a bad night. You know, if you have to keep doing that to him, just block him, Melanie, for good. Just block him.
Melanie likes putting people in timeouts.
Ban a bitch. Yeah, Matthew's, he's way over his fucking.
Yeah.
He's way over his.
Ban a bitch.
Next time, Matthew, you're done.
Oh.
All right.
I love when Jeff bans a bitch.
All right. So let me go ahead and open up the phone lines.
I don't remember if I called in that night or not.
Ring Central. Where is my Ring Central? There it is. Patience. It's not up yet. Okay. If you can be polite, if you can be interesting, and you can't talk over the host and rudeness like that, that'll get you
How rude.
hung up on in a hot minute. You can call 913-279-0831. 913-279-0831. I'm Jeffrey Darty. You're live from the Heartland.
Hey, Jeff, it's John and Tulsa. Can you hear the background noise right now?
Nope, you're good.
Okay, I'm good. Okay. The sound, something froze on that screen, so that's what was worried. Man, this is so involved, I don't know where to start.
Really, I know how you feel.
Yeah, I just was thinking, the Catholic Church, the present Pope is a Jew, I'm trying to see where all these other...
He's a Jesuit, that's right.
The ones that are fake Jews, basically.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Converso,
The
crypto.
Zionists. Where do they come in on this picture?
Well, I mean, they are, in my view,
Khazars.
that is the basic empowerment of Christianity. It's super hyper Zionist right now, and I think they fit right into the picture.
Well, it's going to happen in Jerusalem, evidently. There's going to be a psyop going on. I mean,
you would think so. We got to be careful on YouTube, but yeah, you would think so. It certainly seems like there almost has to be.
Yeah. I mean, that's the way I see it. I mean, it's like Donald Trump. I mean, the guys that got all the money and all the power are going to be the ones that's going to be running everything.
Absolutely, and he might be a big part of it, John. He might be a big part of it. Is it going to be aliens? Is it going to be a second coming, a fake second coming of Jesus? Who knows, man?
Project Bluebeam and all that stuff.
Yep.
It could be very well.
True.
There's something else I wanted to bring up, but I probably won't be too involved tonight. But there was at that time in the Holy Land or in Jerusalem, the tribes that were there were not the Northern Kingdom. It was just Benjamin and Judah.
Really, I didn't know
And
that.
if you
That's
go to
really
Luke,
important.
it talks about when they would be taken capture. When this takes place, and it says
Yeah, I
that they
don't
will be
think I
made
call in.
slaves of all nations.
He just ends it after John, I think. I think I tried to call in, though.
Very good.
And so, what I'm saying is, and there is evidence that the Ethiopians might have been, that Judah might have been black. I've said this before.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be the Zionists that's going to pull the psyop. It's not going to be the black people, okay? Get that straight.
Yeah.
That's just something to think about.
Of course.
I just want to throw that in there. If I'm right about them being black, because does mention that, and yet it even says the word negra in the Greek Latin, I think it is. It was one of the apostles that were with him.
Never a dull moment
That's in
with
the
you,
New
John.
Testament.
Never a dull moment with you.
I know I'm different. I'm always thinking about this stuff and looking at it. I've been doing this for years, but kind of trying to figure out the puzzle.
John's a smart man.
Tonight, what you put together is absolutely marvelous. It's just wonderful. I mean, you're right on track with everything.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
He definitely
All right.
digs
Good night.
deep for sure.
It's a shame. We just got to get more people watching.
That's
We
what
gotta
I'm
get more
doing. I'm
people
trying to get the
listening.
word out, JD.
This is such good stuff, and it almost makes me believe in shadow banning and, you know, trying to keep us down, trying to keep a man down.
Keep a brother down.
Because, boy, this just needs to get out. And if it did, it would change the world. And we will. We will. We will get this job done. And we'll get it done.
We'll get her done, son.
This is Wednesday night. We have D programs coming up on Thursday and Friday, both at 7:30 Central Time. If you notice, I'm not saying late night in the Heartland anymore because I got tired of people saying, Jeff, it's not late anymore. Well, shit, I'm almost 60. It's late. Joke. So we'll be live from the Heartland.
Late night with DAGR, though.
Heartland. And we're glad that you're here. No matter what time it is where you are, early, late, or in between times. We're very, very glad to have had you. What an amazing program that we had tonight. And I'm just excited because there's so much that's being uncovered. There's so much that's being learned. There's so much that's being explained. And it's just getting gooder and gooder.
Goody.
And we'll be back tomorrow night at 7:30 Central Time. And we can't wait to have you here with us. We really can't.
I'll be there. Can't wait for my birthday
be shy
tomorrow with
tomorrow.
JD and the
Call in.
cousins. I'll be
Write your
calling in
questions
for
down.
sure.
Memorize them. Rehearse them if you want. Or just call in and relax. It's like slipping into a warm bath. We're very easy.
That's what I do.
We'll treat you
I'll write them
with
down, but I
kindness.
still slip in.
You're the last generation of real humans. I'm the last real truther. Time to indoctrinate. Time to get busy. We got
Yes,
some winning
sir.
to do. And we are in the
Winning business.
You're divine, you're sovereign, you're free. Don't go on bended knee to somebody else's savior.
Never.
I salute you for being here, seeking after truth. We'll see you again.
All right. Birthday show. Happy birthday to me. Thanksgiving in Canada. It's going to be a good day. Well, it is Thanksgiving right now, and it is my birthday. Gonna head down, bring some stuff to the garbage, and maybe another video or two. Ta-ta for now, cousins. See you soon.